Good morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is September 23rd, Monday morning. Welcome to my channel. Now, this market got through a week of the FOMC, right? And we're basically just accepting these higher prices. Right now, to say that's bullish, right? Pulled back a little bit on Friday, but we recovered. So, nothing really to see there. This week, we have a lot of Fed speak. Actually, Fed Bostic is speaking right now. Kashkari spoke a little bit over the weekend, I believe. He's speaking today again. Um, so we'll hear some Fed speak this week. All right. This morning, is there big news? I wouldn't call any big news this morning. All right. And hopefully, there's some new people here today. If not, welcome to the old ones. And let's get started. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile and market profile to find structure in the markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. This is my edge. This is how I look at the market, and you guys are going to see that every day. Okay. Um. Hopefully, hopefully, you join me and subscribe and set an alert. I do this every day at 10 a.m. Have a cup of coffee, have a cup of tea. If you're in your car, you can listen to the recap of the market, what's going on this morning with news, economic calendar, leaders and laggards, and then we go over some daily charts. And then every day at 8:30, I like to call it the main event, is a Nasdaq and ES futures analysis. That sets me up for my day for long and short trade scenarios. All right, and then obviously when the market opens up, it's a different analysis. And hopefully, you guys can check out my YouTube shorts and my TikTok where I post those day trades. All right. I had a pretty decent trade on Friday. I posted that over yesterday. You can check that out. Okay. Now, I also, if you enjoy my content, please give me a big thumbs up, a like. That would be much appreciated. You can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. And like I said, you can always check out my YouTube shorts for my trades and also my TikTok at Gonzo719 Trader. All right. I think let's just go right over to the futures watch list here. And let's see who's leading the pack. We got Ether. Ether's up 3.95%, followed by the VIX is up 1.98%, followed by Bitcoin up 0.84, followed by the 10-year yield is up 0.73, the dollar is up 0.56, Russell's up 0.36, Nasdaq's up 0.22, ES up 0.13, gold up 0.09, holding over 26. The Dow is pretty much flat, crude's flat, 30-year bonds getting sold down 0.35, and silver down 1.54%. That's the little volatile metal in silver. All right. Moving on to the Max 7 Plus. Let's look at these together. Let's see who's leading the pack. Tesla. Tesla's up 1.44%. Followed, hold on a second here. Followed by Meta, up 1.26. Coinbase following Bitcoin. Google's up 0.41. Snowflake up 0.31. All right. If we go to laggards here, Amazon's flat. Apple's down 0.09. And Microsoft actually got a downgrade, which is interesting. You don't really see Microsoft get downgrades, but they got a downgrade. That's why they're slightly down. They're not down too much. All right, moving on to the top sector stocks here. You have Uber's up 0.47, followed by UPS, followed by Walmart, followed by Home Depot. They're not really that much leaders there. All right, so laggards, we have Qualcomm. Qualcomm is down almost a percent. Interesting. I did see something in the news with them, and I just saw it, and I want to say that's with Taiwan Semiconductors, but I could be wrong. We'll get into that in a sec. Let's go to my swing trade list here. We'll look at leaders here. Intel. Now I saw Apollo Global Investment. I think they're doing a $5 billion investment, I believe, in Intel. That's pushing Intel up for almost 5%. ON has got an upgrade. MicroStrategy's following Bitcoin. Like I said, Micron's in the news. Baba's finally getting some love here. Lenar's up 0.94. Then we got Mara's Bitcoin related Reddit, Bitcoin ETF, Spotify, ARM. That's about it there. Let's go to laggards this morning. General Motors, I believe they just laid off a bunch of workers. Um, then AstraZeneca's down to Ulta, got a downgrade or a price target lower. Supermicro Computers also got a downgrade. Palantir, I want to say they got a downgrade. We could check that out. Or a price target. I can't remember why it's down. Um, Nike also got a target lowered or a downgrade. GameStop. All right. We'll get into why because there's reasons why for those. We'll get into that in a little bit. Let's go down here and let's check out the guts. This is how the market moves. All right. This is how I base my analysis when I'm going to do a day trade on how the sectors are looking. Right. So semis are leading. They're up 0.34. Now they're not leading crazy. Only up 0.34, followed by discretionary. That's your Tesla. Followed by energy. Okay, not up a lot. The biggest lagger today is, believe it or not, real estate. Real estate down 0.7, which does not move the market. That sector does not touch the market. It could fall out of bed. You wouldn't even notice it. All right. That's just based on sector weight. That's how the market moves. It's not me, my opinion. It's how the market moves in the S&P 500. All right. That wraps up the watch list. All right. Now we can get into some news, economic calendar. All right. All right. Let's check it out. All right. Today we have Fed Bostic speaking now. Um, Chicago Fed at 8:30. Now you have S&P Global Services Manufacturing is coming out. 3D's coming out at 9:45. I'm probably not going to be in the trade there when those come out, so be careful about that. Then you got Fed's Goolsby at 10:15 a.m. and Fed Kashkari. All right, so you got a lot of Fed speak this week. Tomorrow, maybe there is more. I don't see any Feds talking that day. Um, Really nothing to see there. Consumer confidence at 10 a.m. Wednesday, new home sales, crude inventories. Thursday, GDP, initial jobless claims, and then a bunch of Fed speak again. But you have the Powell speaking at 9:20 a.m. on Thursday. So everybody will be listening to that, followed by pending home sales, and then more Fed speak. All right, so Thursday's Powell. Friday, you have core PCE. Everyone's going to be watching that, followed by consumer sentiment, Michigan consumer sentiment. So that's what we have as far as that. Okay, now let me check to see if there's any other news dropped here, which I follow here. Nope. All right, let's go to this news here. Let's get into it. Intel. All right. Intel stock rose 4% after Bloomberg reported that Apollo Global Management has offered to make an investment of $5 billion. That's what I talked about before. General Motors stock fell 2.1 after Bernstein downgraded its stance on the auto giant to market perform from outperform, citing the risk the company will announce additional capital requirements. What else? Nike stock fell 1.4 after JP Morgan cut its earning estimates on the sportswear giant ahead of its first quarter results, also cutting its price target to 80 from 83. Boeing stock rose 0.2, bouncing after recent losses, despite Jeffrey saying the ongoing strike is likely to dent the aerospace giant's plane deliveries this year, cutting its estimate to 422, down from the prior forecast to 480. Here's the Taiwan Semiconductor. Maybe I was getting confused with the Micron, but I saw something about Micron earlier. Let's see here. Taiwan Semiconductor stock rose 0.2 at the Wall Street Journal reported that chipmaker, along with Samsung, is discussing building chips in the UAE. All right. Donald Trump stock rose 0.5, bouncing after the falling to the lowest level ever on Friday, the first trading day. The largest shareholder, Donald Trump, is free to sell his shares. Okay. Now, what I saw earlier, let's just get into upgrades and downs. I'm going to show you. Let's see here. Let's just refresh this here. All right. Bank of New York Mellon, they got an upgrade here. All right, from a hold to a buy. We have Keurig Dr. Pepper got an upgrade from neutral to a buy. ONON underperformed to neutral. That's there. Wix got an upgrade as well. Let's go to downgrades. Downgrades, here we go. General Motors, downgrade. Outperformed the market performance. I just mentioned that, right? Um, let's see who else. Microsoft, there's a downgrade. Buy to a neutral. Palantir, there's the downgrade. Okay, remember I was saying I wasn't sure if Palantir got a downgrade. It did. Outperform to market perform. Ulta Beauty also got downgraded. Okay. Now, initiations. Let's look at those together. Not Pinterest initiated a buy. Trade Desk initiated neutral. All right, let's go to price target changes. All right, target raise. Let's see here. PayPal target raise from 74 to 94. Wow. CrowdStrike target raise from 300 to 345. Kava target raise from 115 to 130. Okay, now we'll go to target lowers. Target lower to FedEx from 317 to 288, and that's about it. That kind of rounds out that. All right. What else is there to speak about? Let's see if the juice has any nuggets from. All right. So Kashkari, I guess, is speaking now. It says Fed Kashkari. I penciled in 50 basis point more cuts in 2024. There's a lot of uncertainty about where the Fed will cut to. He also said, I expect smaller steps going forward for the Fed. Bostic was just speaking earlier. He was saying risks to the labor market have increased with the possibility of broad weakness higher than a year ago. The economy is effectively near conditions that would be considered normal. Okay, that's what the Feds are saying right now. And that's about it. Now the Micron news. Let's see here. Let's go here. I just want to see. I know Micron was in the news. Maybe I'm making that up. Alright, I'm not going to search for that. I thought I saw that earlier. Micron. Alright, let's move on to daily charts here. Let's move on to daily charts. Alrighty. Here's our lovely SPY. Alright, so what do we do? What do we do? Not sure if Chief's out there. I know K Trader gave me a nice comment the other day saying she made some money for my analysis. That was awesome. Haven't seen G-Man in a little bit. Muhammad, not sure if he's watching. Say hi if you're new. So you can stay quiet. That's fine. Just wanted to say hi to anybody who's watching. All right, let's check out the SPY. What do we do here? So we made the all-time highs, and then on Friday we pulled back basically almost to the breakout point. Hey Luis, how you doing? I just saw you subscribed. Got a little alert. Thank you for subscribing. And let's see here. So the SPY, like I said, pulled back to here, closed up here, right? You can see two of these candles kind of like dojis, kind of indecision. Bottom line, we're holding above previous month's highs, right? Last week's highs, the previous week, okay? This would, when I talk about last week's highs, it's not talking about last week, it's the week before that, okay? So that's bullish. All right, now where are we at now? 569, let's call it. Right at the highs, close to the highs of Friday. There's nothing bearish about that. All right, nothing bearish about that. Let's look at futures. Live look. All right, we're consolidating, right? So big push up, and now we got another day, right? So all this is saying, the market's telling you they're cool with these prices. They're accepting higher prices. All right, that's bullish. Doesn't matter what you do inside the candle, the market is accepting higher prices. Okay. Now we did make an all-time high in futures, 57.97 and a half. Okay, right here. So we have to see what we do with this consolidation. All right, do we break down? Do we go higher? How long do we consolidate? Right, the longer we consolidate, the bigger the move is going to be. Okay, moving on to the Qs. Now the Qs, you can see relatively weaker, right? They're not close to all-time highs. All-time highs 503.52. 503.52. Okay. Now the Qs hit this very important resistance. You look to the left, resistance was here, right? Around 46.45. Resistance right here, right? This is these white lines, just in case you know, Louise. Okay. I call this my express chart. These white dashes are monthlies. Okay, so I can just look at this chart and see monthlies and weeklies. That is last month's highs. Okay, that is also a previous week highs, right? So that has been resistance. That's been capping the Qs. Okay, now this is the previous week's highs, right? So NASDAQ had a pretty nice move above it, holding above that price, right? That's bullish. They got to battle this though. If they take this out, yeah, we probably might see the all-time highs again. That hasn't happened yet though. Where are we at now? 483. 483. We're almost by the open of Friday. Okay. Let's look at the live book of futures. Okay, you can see this resistance here at 202.55 in futures. All right, you can see that's last week's highs because futures started already. So now we're looking at actually last week's in futures, right? You can see these moving averages too. This is a little tell when you see the flattening out of the 50, the flattening out of the 20, and the 100-day moving average. You know, you can just see this has kind of been going sideways, right? Like I said, this is the level to look at though today in the NASDAQ. Write it down, 202.55, right? Like I said, we're just consolidating, right? So that's what's going on there. Alrighty. Now, moving on to that triple-headed monster. All right, that's where we look at the 10-year yield, the dollar, and the VIX. Let's do that. All right, here's your 10-year yield. Okay. Look at that 10-year. Now, 10-year yield's been rising. You can see that, right? To me, this is probably profit taking. All right, this was probably rate cuts getting baked in. Now that we got them, people taking some profits. However, you know, if math comes into play, the Fed is cutting rates. Okay, so I expect this to eventually roll over. I don't know when, but I expect it to roll over. Yield should fall. Okay, so that's one piece of the monster, right? Let's go to the next one, the dollar. Let's go to that dollar. That dollar can't get out of its own way. So here's that swing low down here, all the way down to 164. We broke that right there, but recovered, and we're just hanging out. What is the dollar going to do? Is it going to break 101.80? Is it going to break this level again and go down? Don't know. It's caught right now. It's caught. All right. Now let's look at the VIX. The VIX, we're at a 16.41. Right. A 16.41 VIX. That's still nice. That's still decent volatility. Okay. So a VIX of a 16.42 is a 1% expected move, plus or minus, in the S&P 500. A 16 VIX is a 1% expected move. It's pretty nice. Okay, pretty nice. Now we have, after triple witching, On Friday, it's all new expiries in options. Okay, so new money. All right, um, the money's off the books from that quarter. Now we start a new one. So new money. Sometimes there's a change after, like you have triple witching like that. We'll have to see. All right, but a 16.4 VIX is pretty nice and can have some nice moves. Okay, now remember, the VIX is 30 days out of fear. It's 30 days out of fear. All right, that will do. You know what? Let's just look at the yen real quick. Just want to see, because remember that Japan carry trade. All right, the yen has pulled back a little bit. So this was the Japan carry trade when we were rocketing up, even though we broke these highs, which is interesting. All right, all right, that was the look at the yen. All right, now we'll go to the main event. Get ready, Luis. Get ready. All right. We'll look at the market profile and the volume profile right here. All right, right here. All right, so we always start with, let me get my marker out. We start with structure. Okay. We always start with structure. And the first thing we look at is the rolling weekly profile. Okay. And we just look at what it looks like. Okay. That's what it looks like. Now, Luis, I don't know if you're familiar with volume profile, market profile, but we always want to mark off the value area, this highlighted blue. That just means 70% of the trading has happened in this area. Okay. Now, very important, 5,700, let's call it, was the most traded price of the week. Okay, it still is in the RTH, but I suspect this will move up higher. That is bullish. Okay, so in the 24-hour session, that has moved higher. It's at 57.61. Okay, price is here. So the market has done its job in the 24-hour session, all right, and it has pulled value higher. Price has pulled value higher. That's bullish. Okay, that's structurally bullish. That's when I talk about value and stuff like that. It's not like my opinion. I'm not telling you I'm a bull. I'm telling you the market is telling us that it's bullish, right? I let the data tell me. I don't have an opinion, okay? So that's one, okay? So now we know most likely today the most traded price of the week will, in the RTH, will move higher to 57.61, all right? Now, another little tidbit here. Here's the most traded price Friday. Price is above that. It's all bullish. Okay. I did see a statistic this past weekend. Anytime the Fed has cut, I think near all-time highs, within 1% of all-time highs, 12 out of 12 times the market was higher a year later. 100%. Now, does that mean does that mean that's got to happen? No, but 100% is pretty strong, right? Pretty crazy. Okay. Now, let's look at what happened Friday. Okay. Now remember, this is RTH from 9:30 to 4:15. This is overnight activity. Okay. So we opened here on Friday, right there. Okay. And then we drove down, boom, into this demand zone. Now I was short. I made a trading video about it. Nice short. Okay. Taking care of some of this weak structure. All right. But then that was all she wrote there, and we wound up closing here, right there, right at the midpoint of the session. Okay. So Where are we right now? Now, look, you have some overnight activity that went over the highs of Friday, right? Right here, right? Price is here. So this is Friday's highs, Friday's lows. This is the overnight lows. This is the overnight highs. Okay, we're inside Friday, just barely. We were gapping up earlier. Okay, now I usually talk about overnight inventory. Well, there's not much to talk about here because look, this is the midpoint of the session. This much long, this much short. I mean, this much short, this much long. That's not really an edge. Okay, that's not really an edge. And since we're just balancing up here, right? We made that move up, and now we've tried to go down a little bit, and we just, there's buyers there. Okay, and this, I would say, isn't the levels aren't jumping out to me today. They're not like crazy jumping out. All right. So what I'm looking at right now is, all right, we're balancing higher. So my general bias would be, okay, I probably would rather be interested in longs. Okay, I'm going to give both, but I probably would favor longs, right? Because structure is telling me we're bullish. Okay. Now, usually I have nuanced levels, and I'm trying to be like, what is a nuanced level here? Now, we do have one kind of, but it kind of is really this demand zone. All right. Now, what do we have here? Value area low from Friday's here, and look at the overnight low. That excess went right there. Okay. So, but this area 57.49 to really this area is bulls have to defend. You also have week to date VWAP right there. I'm sorry, that's last week's week to date VWAP. This is the VWAP now. So scratch that. This area right here, that's what the bulls got to defend. Okay. Beneath this is very poor structure. Look at this volume on that move. That's overnight volume. You go below this, that is very weak. You can see here, the volume's not there, but you really see it here in the day that we moved. Very thin volume. Okay. So this is the area bulls got to defend. Now, up here, we do have supply right here. Okay. And we do have a poor high in the overnight. Poor high just means a double top in the overnight session. Now, I'll break this out for you if you're like, what the heck is this thing? All it is 30-minute bars together. Look at that's all it is. And if I make it smaller, it'll get fatter. Here we go. All right, so this is the overnight activity. It's only 30-minute bars. That's all that market profile really is 30-minute bars. And you can see we moved up. We got longs at poor trading locations. See all those longs trapped there? And then boom, and now we're recovering. So this could be a little bit of a breakout point. Okay. You really got to watch that because shorts are lined up there, right? And I feel if we come back up there, we should correct this. We should correct it. What I mean by correct, because I know if you're not familiar with it, the profile's flat. See here? And usually you always end something with excess. See how these profiles are? Excess on the bottom, excess to the top, excess on the top, excess on the bottom, excess on the bottom here. You just don't have it here. So most likely we'll correct that today. Doesn't have to happen today. Okay. And then basically there's all-time highs right here. There's no resistance above here. Okay. Now, let's get into scenarios. Okay. So we're going to start with the bull scenario here. Okay, and I already talked about what I want to see. All right. So all I want to see is this area be defended by bulls. I want to see if we get a pullback in here. Okay, so what I'd like to see. So we could even come in here, let's say correct this poor high in the overnight, and then we get some selling, and then we find ourselves in this area. I want to see how we do what we do. Now also, when the market's open, which none of us have that information of how the market's going to be. I want to see how strong we are, how strong are the big tech stocks, what sectors are driving the move. It's all going to be coming into play. But if it comes into play that we're not that weak under the hood and we start to get lower highs here, well, then I want to be long here and see if we can make new all-time highs. Okay? Honestly, not interested in much more than that. Now, the only other thing that I might be interested in, okay, for a long would be this move. Here's price. Let's say we do this. Let's say we go into this supply and we don't break this. But then guess what? The most traded price of the week in 24-hour and Friday's price becomes support right here. Let's say it starts to hold and hold and hold and the market's not that weak. Well, then it makes this poor high 57.81 susceptible to get broken, and we could go and set new all-time highs. Okay, that is also a possibility. All right, now on the short side, which I would say very hard place to be in to short this market. Again, doesn't mean you can't trade it, doesn't mean you can't get a down move. Okay, but what would I be interested in? All right, I'd be interested in something like this. Let's say we move and we correct this activity right here in supply. We just do a quick boom, but we don't find acceptance above that level. We reject, come through. Now, right here is the most traded price of the overnight. If we come through that, right, this might be a place to take a little profit on the most traded price. Now, if we cut through this, we are going to revisit most likely Friday's lows, 573.33. Now, like I said, this demand zone has been touched once, twice. All right, that weakens the demand zone. So if we come through, break that demand zone, hold, we have that thin volume right here. Okay, now, Luis, I don't know if you're still with me, but that's our Elfie. Picture a toothpick holding up an elephant. That should not hold that elephant. So, and I talked about that in my video over the weekend, poor structure. All right, this is poor structure. So if we do hold under here, I expect us to revisit 5,700. Now, if we cut through 5,700 and hold, that is not good. Okay, that could propel us to break 55.60 and go all the way down to possibly the month-to-day view up, which is 56.24 in this demand zone here. Okay, I got to put this in here because that would really reverse the market. Okay, got my eye on that. Don't know if it happens, just a scenario. Okay, just a scenario. Trying to keep it simple today. Okay, because like I said, that short side isn't easy, but something like that with the market weak, oof, could be tasty. Okay, could be tasty. Now we can move on to the Nasdaq, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Okay, here's the Nasdaq. We do the same thing. All right, look at the profile of the week. Here we go. There's value area all the way up here. Okay, now again, same thing. Most trader price of the real-time trading hours sessions are down here, around 196.55 about. Okay, price is up here. Price is up here. Okay, 24-hour price 240. So that's 200,040 is the most traded price of the 24 hours. So most likely this price will move up here today. That is bullish again. Okay, that's bullish. You can't deny that. Now we do have different structure here in the in the Nasdaq. Okay, we do have different structure. They went pretty high up here in the overnight, and now look, you're right at Friday's highs right now. So there's Friday's highs, price is right there. There's Friday's lows, overnight low, overnight high. Okay, We're holding above the most traded price of the 24-hour session. Now, see the supply overhead, all this red? That is overhead supply. That's that big resistance I'm talking about that has to churn through that. I don't think that's going to be easy. Okay. I don't have a, I trade in another community. It's not my own. I'm working on the Discord on my own. Um, I tried to use, Luis, I tried to use the YouTube community. Like if you're subscribed, if I have enough people interested in it, I might start using that. Because right in the YouTube chat, my YouTube channel, there is a thing called community where you can post and stuff like that. Like if I had enough people say, hey, I would be interested in following what you're doing, right? I would use that, right? But Discord is definitely in the future, but right now I don't have one. All right. So back to the analysis here. All right. Price is right here. All right. So we're right at Friday's highs. Okay. I'm trying to look for some nuance here. And like I said, we do have it here. All right. Now you can't see it probably that great, but value area low from Friday session is right here, right? It lines up with the overnight low right here. So I'm interested to see what bulls do here. Bulls got to defend this, okay? And just again, a reiteration of value area is 70% of the trading volume that happened on Friday. Okay, 70% of people who traded the most in that area. Okay, so this is the value area low of that area. Okay, this is very important because just think about it. If 70% of the people traded in this area, okay, 70%, and whoever was long there, if you break this level and you don't have, this is pretty much excess, that shouldn't cause much support. We could test this area, this demand zone. Okay, that's why I said that level is important. Now that level, I'll give it to you right here, is 199.45. So 199.45 to 199.55, watch that on the NASDAQ. This, if tested again and the market is weak, that's the key word. If the market is weak, should flush down to the lows of Friday. If the market is strong, that's how you look at it. If the market is strong and defends it, that is bullish. That's how you have to look at it. But it doesn't just happen. You got to analyze it, right? It's not if because it could break a little bit and you go, oh my God, it's breaking. But then what if it recovers? That's bullish, right? Now, so that's a good key level to look at right there. All right, so that's one that we have to note. Okay, and we're right at the highs. Okay, that's the really key level that I'm really looking at to concentrate on the NASDAQ. Okay, now if we look at overnight inventory, that's not an edge today. It's right kind of in the middle, that long to that short, no edge there. No edge there to speak of. Okay, pretty balanced. Pretty balanced. And you don't have that poor high like you did in the ES here. Okay, don't have that. And we're kind of at the mid of the session. Like I said, this is not the best like area like to be in right now. At Friday's highs in the middle of the overnight session, it's not the best area. Okay, so now we got some levels here. We got our week low here. Okay, we got a week low here. You have the Friday's highs here, prices here. Okay, so the bottom line for me is you have a high here that was put in supply, and you tried an overnight high and they got rejected. So this area in here, there's sellers there. Okay, so we're going to use that area. Okay, and like I said, there's a lot of overhead supply here, so it's going to be really hard to cut through all that. That's why it's having a hard time. Okay, all right, let's get into the scenarios. Now, sometimes I'm loving scenarios, and today's scenarios, I really want to have a lot of information set in today because this is just, like I said, we got our week low here, but it's about testing these edges, really. It's all that it's about. Okay. I don't even know if I put that graphic up or not. I'm gonna do it again. I don't know if I did it or not. All right. So let's talk about the long. All right. Because we have bullish structure now. Again, it's pretty much the same situation here in the ES. Okay. Here's our week low, 199.55 to 199.44. Value area low and overnight low. Okay. I want to see if buyers step up here. Okay. So we can come up here, maybe go into supply, fall back down, come down, and let's say we just work our way down. You cut through the most traded price of Friday right here. Okay. If the market, like I said, now this is all, you have to judge the market strength. What's driving the price lower? Is it tech? Is it just a quick correct? You have to analyze this, right? So if I don't see the market very weak, and I'm like, okay, let's see what we do in here. We do one of these, higher lows. The market starts to cover, starts to strengthen up. Well, then I expect us to start working our way back up here and maybe testing that high of 2020 201 and maybe going up to the edge of this supply 202.50. Okay. What else could be possible? All right, because we do have this supply zone that we came into right here on Friday. Okay, we do have that. So even if we did breach this area, you still have this area now to get defended. And again, if we're not that weak, then this could also be the move up. All right. That's kind of what I've only be interested in. Why? Because underneath this area, there's very poor structure. Okay. Very poor structure. And you reverse a lot of these longs and the longs from here. Okay. Now, again, I'll say one more thing here based on this. All right. We can come and let's just say we go straight down and we defend the most traded price of Friday. That's also a part that if you can't break that, then you're going to start going up. Okay. Now, that's the long side. Let's go to the short side. The short side here, all this overhead supply. We have all this overhead supply here. Okay. So, what do? Let's say we come in. We get some support here. We move up, take out the overnight high, test this, and let's say we come up here and we start to get rejected, lower high, lower high. Now, depending on, like I said, if the market is like, oh, it's a little weaker than I thought, it's not that strong. Let's say we go up, but it's not that strong. You could roll over here, and then you test the most traded price of the week in the overnight, and then here is your test, right? Most traded price of Friday is right there. That's more longs. Okay, take that out. You got the week low we talked about here with the overnight low and the value area low. If you cut through that, this little thin volume here is going to get taken out. You're going to test Friday's lows of 198.60.75. Okay, below this demand. Okay, you do have a major level here, but below it is very poor structure. That's that gap up. If we cut through this demand, okay, there's a good shot coming all the way back to the most traded price of the month here. Okay, that price is 196.85. Okay, if price does not hold there and we do this, this is going to be panic time for the markets. Okay, here's the month to day VWAP at 194.04. That definitely could be a destination and probably lower, but I don't know. It's just a scenario. It doesn't mean that has to happen, but I have to be prepared for it. Okay, that is the scenarios today, folks. All right, hopefully got something out of it, and you can subscribe to my channel just like Luis did. Do this every day at 8:10 a.m. All right, if you enjoyed it, smash the like button. That would mean a lot to me. All right, and you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719, and of course my day trades. If you want to check them out, go to my YouTube Shorts, and you can go to my TikTok Gonzo719 Trader. Okay, that's it. That's the analysis for today. Like I said, I'm gonna probably sit back on a Monday after triple witching and really feel the market out. Remember, 9:45 you have global services, manufacturing numbers coming out. I'm probably gonna stay away and wait till that noise settles. Okay, and then it's all about analyzing the market on the open. Remember, that's information no one has yet. Okay, so stay patient. No trade is a trade, and I'll see everybody tomorrow. And Luis, welcome. Hopefully you join me every day. All right, take it easy.